Dr. J fan. So wherever Dr. J played, and I do remember him playing in the ABA, and then he went to the Sixers, and I became a Sixers fan. And for the longest, the Sixers could never get over the hump with the Celtics. And finally, they did that year.
Even when Julius Erving choked Larry Bird, if you remember that, even when he was choking him.
Absolutely, man. That was a great rivalry, good basketball, and it's back when they let those guys play. But KC oversaw several of those championship teams with the great Boston Celtics.
Well, I'll tell you what, Del, and I don't want to elongate this segment, but I do want to let people know also Casey Jones was one of the most beloved coaches by all of the Celtics brass and the players. He replaced hard-nosed Bill Fitch, who coached the Celtics to the 81 finals. And if you ever want to know Bill Fitch, watch the 81 conference finals, Sixers, Celtics, the greatest series ever played. It was the conference finals. But Casey Jones was definitely one heck of a coach, player, and humanitarian as well. And we lost somebody else in the professional wrestling world. And this kind of hurts me too, just to know, man, this guy was 41 years old, 40 years young. Rest in peace to everyone throughout that we're talking about. Condolences. You're right about that. Guys, I want to bring up Brody Lee. He wrestled under the name Brody Lee. John Huber. He also wrestled for the WWE as Luke Harper. And they'll just look at that, 1979 to 2020.
Yeah.
Unreal. So young.
Tragedy, a tragic thing. I saw that his wife had posted something on social media, and it is just a sad situation to be that young. Life is literally just beginning. You've got so much life ahead of you, and then it's tragically gone so suddenly. But yes, a very talented individual, and obviously the wrestling world is going to miss him, but more importantly, his family. So our condolences to his family.
Without question, guys, 2020. This is the last show of 2020, and getting into a topic that I've been chomping at the bit to talk about, and I know Del has as well. This is a topic that's actually stayed with me for about a good portion of this week, guys and gals. A lot of people are talking about a bill. A lot of people are talking about a relief bill. Del, there was something that hit the headlines across the world, not just this country. It has to do with a certain relief bill. I don't really call it a relief bill, Del. I call it an irresponsible swamp bill, in my own opinion. And the reason why I call it a swamp bill is because think about what's included in this bill. 1.4 trillion, not billion, 1.4 trillion spending for foreign relief. We're navigating right now through our own issues of city shutdowns, closed schools. All we're asking for is less wasteful spending. Am I right, Del?
Absolutely. It is a bill, Avi, that in and of itself has created 60 additional bills. And you want to talk about swamp. This is swamp. I mean, this is knee-deep swamp. This is swamp at its best. This is pork at its best. And this is what just sickens the American people, this bill, and the way it's been packaged and presented. And to offer the American people the crumbs of $600. Remember when President Trump put into place the tax cuts for business and corporations across America?
Yes.
These businesses were rewarding employees with $1,000, $1,200 payments. And Nancy called that crumbs. She mocked it.
Crumbs.
But yet beat her chest over this measly $600.
$600.
And you know what I would think, Avi, would be the best thing to do?
Tell me.
Keep your $600. Keep your $2,000 and open this country back up and let it go to work. Let the American people do what they do best, which is get up every day, provide for themselves, provide for their families, keep your money, and let us go back to work and open this country back up.
Open it back up, and there is some breaking news right here. J.C. Farina tells me President Trump just signed something that just came over the wire. Michael Rubin is telling us, my buddy says Trump signed the bill tonight for stimulus. 600, I guess, is what we're talking about right now. I guess it's official. Let me pull up some more comments here. Yeah, Bebop Swearigan, good source. Trump just signed the COVID-19 bill. The Americans are going to be $600 richer. Yay, you go, Democrats. Part of my sarcasm, guys and gals, but I'm heated right now, more than you can imagine live, which has never happened on a broadcast. I'm at a loss for words, which I usually am not. Del, is this news surprising to you?
It's surprising, and it's disappointing. And as much as I like the president, I'm disappointed that he didn't veto it. Greatly disappointed. This is disgusting. With all this money, what is it doing for the small businesses? What is it doing for the restaurants in New York City? What is it doing for the restaurant industry all across this country? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The
Not a
American
penny
people
goes.
do not want just another check. They want the government to do their job like they have to. And all of a sudden, leadership in Washington refuses to do so across the board. Del, I feel like our hands are tied right now because this is a game. And we always talk about political agendas, and we never shortchange the masses. But this is an issue that I think people could see a mile away. That's what makes it harder to stomach for me, Del.
Yeah. And it is. It's, you could see this coming a mile away. And it's not just Democrats. I rail on Democrats a lot, but I will equally rail on worthless, gutless, swamp-filled Republicans. They're just as bad.
Sure.
I am a conservative. I no longer identify myself as a Republican. They're as repulsive to me as the left. They're all in it together. They're part of this thing together.
Absolutely.
And it's sickening. I want to tell you just a few of the things that this thing gives, okay?
Please do.
$700 million goes to Sudan. Now, again, remember, nothing goes to the restaurant industry across this country.
Nope.
But Sudan gets $700 million. $231 million of that will be used to pay down their debt. $10 million for gender studies in Pakistan. Gender studies in Pakistan. Now, Lindsey Graham said he thinks that's a very important thing because Lindsey doesn't like the way women are treated in Pakistan. It's their culture. They can do what they want to do. It's actually none of our business. And if they don't like the way things go there, they can change it. But who are we? Who are we, the culture that now says there are more than two genders, to impose our sick views on another culture? Because I thought progressives were against this cultural imperialism.
Me too.
But evidently they're not. Evidently they're all for it because we need to go into those countries. And you know what, Avi? That is the best way. Foreign aid is the best and most effective way for the media, the political elite, and the politicians in this country to enforce their socialist progressive views on other countries.
I'm glad you said that because to me that's the ultimate sign of international propaganda. That's what this bill is, guys. This isn't just for the sake of the people that right now are crying foul. No, not. It has nothing to do with that. It's bigger than that. The way I look at it is Congress finds plenty of money for foreign countries and lobbyists. We're talking about special interests while spending the bare minimum for us. We're the American people, and we're the ones that need it, and that's what Trump said. And you know what? I got to say this right off the bat. This has nothing to do with COVID. This has nothing to do with COVID. It's the foreign aid portion that was part of the government funding aspect of the combined legislation. And what does that mean? That means that it's a farce, guys, and it's an agenda. And when you talk about certain lobbyists that were involved, again, if you go down, I always say this, that proverbial rabbit hole, all you need to know is that this was something that I pretty much was able to see also a mile away about 3 weeks back. Didn't want to believe it. I actually thought Trump would hold out a bit longer. And how ironic is it that on Unmasking the Truth, a show that we talk in depth about current events, things that pertain our country, right now we have breaking news. $600, guys and gals. I hope it was all worth it. For anyone that complains later on that $600 wasn't enough to wash your car or put food on the table, all I say is bravo to you. Bravo to you.
It's disgusting, Avi. A 5,600-page bill that was written, as you said, by special interests and lobbyists, that those that voted on it, just as they said with the Obamacare bill,
right,
you've got to pass it to find out what's in it. They haven't even read this bill.
Nope.
This bill was presented, and 6 hours later, it was voted on. I mean, this is so typical of what goes on in Washington, D.C. And it's disgusting that this has happened. And I am greatly disappointed in the president for signing it. I don't want my tax money. I don't want my tax money being spent that way. I don't want my tax money being spent to bail out states where they've got governors that have been so oppressive with their shutdowns. You know what we found out this week? And maybe it was sooner than this week with me being sick and Christmas and all going on. I just found it out. You know, all these restaurants, and I keep using New York City because they've brought this idiot governor up there as something special. They've given him an Emmy award for his daytime updates on COVID. He's oversaw more deaths than any governor in America. And he shut these restaurants down. And that's what just sticks in my craw. And 1.3%, according to the CDC, 1.3% of the COVID cases in New York City have come from restaurants. Yet he has shut them down and he's choking the life out of them. He's a clown.
The numbers don't add up, especially when you talk about recovery time, and I would agree with you there. Guys, we are our own worst propaganda machine. I always hate to bring that up, but we are, and this epitomizes that statement that I just made, and I'm with you. Guys, wasteful spending. If somebody ever asks you what you have a problem with this relief bill, and you want to respond with as few words as possible, be as direct as possible, use 2 words, wasteful spending. Hashtag that, because that's what I would if I was a Twitter guy, Del.
Well, I'm going to give you some more statistics. I've written a lot of stuff down here.
Please.
All right. So we've got $506 million going to Central America. $300 million in this bill are going to Caribbean countries to study fish.
Sure, it's fish.
Yeah, to study fish. $1.3 billion to Egypt, in which will probably be used to buy weapons from Russia.
Yep.
Because of their relationship with Russia. This is insane. $1.3 million to study and find out whether or not Americans will eat bugs. $37 million to help Filipino kids.
Guys, we can't make this up. We can't make this up.
This is ridiculous. $4.5 million to spray alcoholic rats with bobcat urine. Now, can you explain that to me?
Unreal. It's like something out of a sci-fi film that doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like I'm actually reading a comic book, Del.
And we're supposed to think this is good. And you know what's bad? Is that we'll just sit back and take it, evidently. We're going to, they've told us that we can't go to work. Many of us, you can't eat. You can't go out to eat. You can't be with your families on Thanksgiving.
I am tired. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the UN, and I'm tired of us always swooping in to third world countries and offer technical assistance to dictatorships like Uganda, like Ethiopia, and how to solve poverty. It boggles my mind, and I'm getting a bit more irate about this because this is breaking. And it's one of those situations where you're watching a sports game and you know that your team's down by 20. You kind of know that they're done. But once that clock ticks away and it's official and they've been blown out by 20, that's when your rage starts taking over you. Del, unfortunately, we're also helping motivate the sole agenda of dictators across the world with this relief bill, too.
We certainly are. Absolutely we are. Let me give you a few more incidents of
Please.
what we're spending money here. $15 million to buy high-speed boats in Sri Lanka. $15 million to buy high-speed boats there. $130 million to promote democracy in Nepal. And we can't even handle mail-in ballots in this country. But we're going to send Nepal $130 million to promote democracy when we can't even address that in this country. $15 million to promote it in Pakistan. $33 billion, and this is going very well, $33 billion to promote democracy in Venezuela. How's that working out for you? How's that going? And last but not least, Georgia needs assistance. $132 million in assistance for Georgia, not the state, the former Soviet republic.
Former Soviet, yeah, absolutely, sure. Del, I'm blown away by that, and I want our viewers to be blown away by that. This is not a fantasy list. This is not SNL. We're reading something that's legitimate, as far-fetched as it might sound. And Del, I want to bring up Uganda and Ethiopia as well. I want to bring up those countries because, guys, you need to understand exactly what ideologies take place in certain countries across this world. And what we didn't bring up in depth is this relief bill helps out Uganda, helps out Ethiopia as well. And you know what we're doing? Dictators right now, because of this, Del, are left with cash and services that help prop themselves up while punishing their enemies. Does that sound like something that would fall under the banner of humanitarian causes? I don't think so.
No, and what in the world is that? Absolutely not humanitarian causes. And what has that got to do with the American people that are suffering the crippling effects of this virus and the lockdowns that have come? We have an economy that was the greatest economy in the history of America going. And this thing brought it to its knees. We're going to get this economy going again by sending billions of dollars all over the world, like you said, to dictators. It's insane.